Welcome to Cat Chat.
So Channing Chaston here is the author of The 1% Kid. The 1% Kid. So he's going to talk to us about his journey to his dream school of Ohio State, and he wrote a children's book. And he talks about his journey of overcoming obstacles and chasing dreams and embracing the relentless pursuit of excellence. So it's fun to have a different guest and an author on here. And
You're listening to Cap Chat, the #1 soccer recruitment podcast in the United States. This is Cap Chat.
So we'll plug right now. You can go to the1percentkid.com, and that's spelled out the 1%kid.com to purchase the book. But we're gonna start. Channing, hey, thanks for joining. How are you?
I'm good, Josh. Thanks for the invite. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So let's dive right into it and talk. Where were you born and raised? You said you went to Ohio, so let's take us through your journey here from the little kid on the cover of the book here.
Right. It's a pretty lengthy journey. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. Lived there until I was about 10 years old, and then I moved to Arizona. It was in Ohio where I was introduced to the game of soccer about the age of 3 or 4. I played many other sports, but soccer was just one that just stuck with me, right? I just felt I enjoyed being different. Not many people were playing soccer in Cleveland when I was playing, and I enjoyed being good at something with my feet. I felt like, I could be good with my hands and play football or basketball, but the joy of playing my feet and being good at it just appealed to me. Moved to Arizona when I was 11, grew up here, played high school soccer at Hamilton, which is one of the most prestigious high schools in Arizona. Was actually able to make the varsity team as a freshman and score in the freshman state championship game, which was an amazing feeling. You can imagine how that felt.
Nice.
And then went on, started getting recruited after my sophomore year by SMU, University of Washington, a couple other schools, but still no word from Ohio State. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, but with like the soccer ID camps, some people think they're just like a money play or things like that. But I went to the Ohio State soccer ID camp, balled out, was able to get seen by the coaching staff at Ohio State, and they ended up actually started recruiting me, going to some of my games, Dallas Cup tournament, and the things like that. And they ended up offering me a committable offer, and I committed right there on the spot. Fast forward about a year later, I get word that the Ohio State coach that recruited me and the whole staff is retiring. So had to reopen my recruitment, open that all back up. The new Ohio State coach came in. He was from Indiana. So if you guys know soccer, Indiana is like the Alabama of college soccer. He was the assistant coach, came to Ohio State, re-recruited me. I had to go out to the Indiana ID camp so he could see me play. And ended up going well, and I ended up getting a committable offer again and committed back to Ohio State. So to make my dream reality.
Let's back up a little bit here. So Ohio State from a young age, because you grew up in Ohio or were born in Ohio, and from a young age, you said your mom went there. You were hyper focused on Ohio State from it sounds like day one, right?
Right.
And was there ever a plan B for you? Was there ever if Ohio State doesn't come through, I'll go here? Or it was Ohio State or nothing.
Yeah, there was a plan B, but not really. So it was like University of Washington was my other school that I was really contemplating on going to, but it was always Ohio State. Like if I got an offer from Ohio State, I knew I was going there no matter what.
And then so you said something interesting and I think this is especially true. So I think it's a great point is that you got yourself in front of the coach.
Right.
So you went to an ID camp at Ohio State. So talk about that. So you're walking into Ohio State, which is your dream school, your goal, everything is here. How were you, junior, senior, sophomore? How old were you at that point?
I was a sophomore.
How nervous? What is that like walking onto that camp? Like as a sophomore, here's your dream school. Like what was going through your head then?
Yeah, I kind of depict this kind of story in the book. I was beyond nervous. I started off I remember we had the first training camp day, and I started off the first practice super timid. Like, these are guys I was watching on TV. Some of the players were like volunteering to help out and coach our teams. And I was like, wow, like, I'm really here. It's such a big campus. We were playing in the Ohio State football stadium, some of our scrimmages. So it's like, I've never been in an environment like this. And there's so many other kids from some of the best club teams in the state and best club teams in the country. So I felt a little out of place at first, but once the game started rolling, we started to play soccer after the first training session. I started to settle in and realize I can actually do this and make my dream a reality. But like you said, it's all about getting yourself in front of those coaches.
Yeah. So if you wouldn't have gone there, is it safe to say you probably wouldn't have gone to Ohio State? Like if you wouldn't have attended that ID camp, are you safe to say you probably wouldn't have gone to Ohio State because they would have found you?
I think I could have, but it would have been a way lesser chance. Way lesser chance.
Huh. That's incredible, though. That's really neat. I think you're right. It is a big thing that, like, oh, ID camps aren't worth it. ID camps aren't worth it, and it's you got yourself out there. You say, okay, we're going to go. So,
right.
and I know you kind of skim past it. And I'm sure this is mostly in the book as well. I don't want to read the entire book, but I was fascinated by the situation that the coach that recruited you made you an offer. You verbally accepted. What are you, a junior now? And you verbally accepted?
Beginning of my junior year, right before my junior year. Yep.
Okay. So you verbally accept, like, you've made it. This is just like everything you've wanted has come true. That coach now leaves. And for those players who know, a verbal doesn't lock you in until you're able to sign your national letter of intent. Coach leaves, everything goes, and now you're like, oh, crap. So, and how did you find the coach you said came from Indiana? Is that was
the next coach following the coach that retired? Yes, was an assistant in Indiana University.
So what was that process like? So you found that new coach, like you had to do the work, or that coach reached out to you? Like you're back scrambling again.
So I had a decommit, but I was the only committed player for 2019 in that class. So they had me like written down in the list of like committable players, I guess, that they transferred over to the next coaching staff. So right after he was hired, about 3 weeks after he was hired, he calls me, and you can imagine how I feel. He's like, "Hey, this is Brian Mazanoff, new Ohio State coach. I see you were the only committed player for 2019. We're coming in here. I'm going to have to need to see you play. Is there any way you can come out to the Indiana University ID camp this summer?" I was like, I told my parents, like, yeah, I guess we got to get you out there. If you still want to go to Ohio State, you're going to have to make a good impression. And then I get to the Indiana ID camp, and I've never met this guy before, just spoke on the phone. And I go to the sign-in table, and guess who I'm walking into? As soon as I'm walking in, the first person I see out of the camp is the new Ohio State coach. You can imagine how I was feeling, nervous, like,
yeah.
And then fast forward to like the first training day camp, we like have coaches for the whole week. He's my coach for the entire week. Like there was no escaping him, you know? So it was quite a whirlwind. I bet if he talked about the story, it'd be pretty crazy too, but yeah.
The Ultimate College Soccer Recruitment Roadmap. A step-by-step guide through the recruitment process. Strategic recruitment planning. Step-by-step guide through the recruitment process. You can purchase the book at rushcollege.com/book. That is rushcollege.com/book. This will be the most helpful book you have read for the recruitment process. It is a must read if you want to play collegiate soccer. And you can find the book at rushcollege.com/book. Purchase now today for your exclusive copy.
So you were waiting to sign that national letter of intent, and you kind of keep waiting. You finally get to the day that you sign the national letter of intent. So after your the ups and downs and the you're with Ohio State, you're not with Ohio State. So it comes to signing day, national letter of intent signing day. What's going through your head? Was your mom crying? Like, was this kind of everything put together? Like, what's going on now at this point?
Yeah, it was definitely a whole bunch of emotions at once. Like you said, like for a high school kid to go through all these ups and downs and challenges while still playing club soccer, still playing ODP, still doing all these things. still getting good grades. Like, it was a lot on my plate, definitely through high school. So to come through the final day and have signing day to know that it's official, I'm going to be at Ohio State. My family, my mom, my dad, my sister, it was definitely emotional for all of us that like I'm finally going to my dream school, and they've known it was my dream school and it's official. So definitely, I think my parents were shedding tears. I didn't, but I probably could have. I think I was just trying to act tough for my friend.
Well, and like you said before, you probably got a lot to prove because you posted everywhere that you're going to Ohio State, and now there's this moment that you may not, and you're like, how do I back out of this? Because now you're probably thinking, man, I look like an idiot here. Like,
Right.
you know, because regardless of what really happened, if the coach left, whatever, it's you now for a brief moment have gotten booted from the team that you thought you had. And so,
Right.
now, how many of your high school friends or you played at let's say, because at the time it was a Power 5 conference, and so it's now Power 4, but did you play with anyone else that played at the Power 5 level?
In high school, on my high school
yeah,
team,
high school club, like, yeah, I mean,
I think at a Power 5 level, I might have been the only one that went to like a Big Ten ACC school that I played with at a club level. And then high school, I had some other guys go to Division I schools, some good Division I schools like Lehigh, UC Davis, Irvine, GCU, University of Denver. But I think I was the only one. I had a couple friends also on my ODP team that went to like Northwestern, so that was in our conference. I had a friend go to University of Michigan, which was our rival. So I had some other friends that from other teams that went, but on my teams, I think I was the only one that went to a Power 5 school.
Yeah, because I think and especially now with all the lawsuit stuff, but you know, the Power 4, I think there's the Power 4 schools, so you're talking about Power 5, but and then there's kind of everyone else in Division 1. I'm no knocking of the mid-majors at all. They're fantastic schools, but when kids dream of playing Division 1 sports, they dream of the sports they see on TV, you know. And so I think that is a big deal. Now, is that where the 1%, like, talk about the name of the book, so kind of how, and I'll show this up on the screen here, and you can see how much this looks like him. Right. That is how many? I'm appalled. How many different takes or with an artist did you get till you go, man, that's me? Or is that like the first take?
That was his first take. I showed him a picture though. I had like a picture of what I looked like when I was younger, and he did a pretty good job of it.
I had not seen you previously before this, and I'd seen the book, and I see it. I'm like, oh, I would have. That's kind of close to like that. That's really good, man.
Right.
You can never grow, of all your when you do public, you can't grow your hair out now. Like, your hair has to be short because it will confuse the kids. Like, wait a second, that's not you.
Exactly. And when it was at Phoenix Rising, it was long, so yeah, you got to keep it this way.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about the book, and I do want to get back to the Phoenix Rising, but let's talk about how you came up with the 1%. I'll let you kind of explain why you wrote the book and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so the 1% is kind of all about the 1% better everyday mindset. When I was at Ohio State, I believe it was after my sophomore season. So we had COVID. So our fall sophomore season got canceled, and then we had our season in the spring. And I was playing, but I wasn't playing as much as I thought I should. I had a kind of like a super senior playing over me. And when we had a meeting at the end of the season, my coach said, we always thought that the guy was going to produce. I started a couple games, we always thought the senior would produce more. But when I came in, I was producing. So I was a little frustrated, right? And I thought of transferring. I was like, well, I think I want to transfer somewhere where I can prove that I'm doing my work and I'm doing well. And I ended up entering the transfer portal. But I ended up going back to Ohio State. So, and after that, I wrote, the reason why I went back was because I was like, how am I going to preach about getting better every day and perseverance and things like that and leave my dream school? I was like, I need to come back. And ever since that, I wrote on the whiteboard right by my bed, 1% better every day. And it's stuck with me ever since, just like getting 1% better every day and whatever it is, soccer, my mentality, my academics. I was just like, I'm going to get better, 1% better every day. And it changed my whole mindset. I came back my junior year. I had a really great season, my best season yet. And And then in terms, it then allowed me to go to play for Phoenix Rising right after. It's always about like just being a part of the 1%, doing what the other 99% won't do. So in order to make it to Division One, there's especially a Power Four school now. It's like less than 1.5% of kids that actually make that. So that's another reason why it's called the 1%, because it's very rare for kids to actually make it to that level. So it also talks about the mindset and then also like the rarity of it to make it to where you want to.
That's incredible. And I want to focus on a couple things you said. And so you enter the transfer portal. When you enter the transfer portal, for those listening, you have to tell your coach. So, a lot of coaches would just say, "See you later, Channing." But so you enter the portal, and then you rescinded it. How did that conversation go with your coach?
Yeah, my coach kind of understood, and also my dad had a health scare, so I was kind of also like, maybe I want to go back closer to home because of like my health scare and with the playing time stuff. So he understood, and he was like, "I'll give you a couple of days to go about it." So I actually went to the transfer portal. I was in there for like 3 days, and things like that. And then I was like, "No, I'm coming back." And he was like, "We're so glad to have you back." Things like that. Like, I understand how you're feeling, but and then watch, it'll pay off. So it ended up paying off, and I ended up training with Phoenix Rising that summer, actually during COVID or after COVID for a little bit, and I had a great, that just like made me get so much better. Playing with professionals, getting in that environment. I came back to Ohio State, a whole new player, it was just totally different. So it was definitely interesting.
That's awesome. So you talk about the 1% and get 1% better each day. Can you give some examples to players that are listening that obviously training with Phoenix Rising, the professional team, is incredible, but maybe they don't have that opportunity, but what are some of the things that you did on a daily basis? You said you wake up every day, get 1% better today, and say you didn't have training with Phoenix Rising. What are some things that kids can do to be better every single day?
Right. So something that I did also was, ever since I was, I think, maybe in junior high, I wrote on a piece of paper like my 3 goals. So one was to go to Ohio State and play soccer there. One was to play professionally. And then I also put like my why, like why I do it. And I taped that above my bed. And my mom was actually pretty mad because she was like, "Why are you going to put tape on the ceiling? It's going to, when you take it, right?" So I never took it off. But so that's something that also like held me accountable of getting 1% better every day, because I had my goals there and my why every morning to wake up and fall asleep to be like, okay, if I want these goals and this is my why, this is why I have to do it. And with being like 1% better, it's just, I always had a ball with me in the house. My mom would be mad at me. I'd have a ball, but bouncing it around. I'd go outside, train. I would run close to probably 5 days a week outside of practice just to stay fit. I would be doing calf raises, sit-ups at night, during the week, just to stay fit and things like that. So I just felt like whenever I had a chance to do better and improve myself, I did that. Like I always had goals like academics. I was like, all right, if I want to go to Ohio State, it's a prestigious institution academically, I need to have good grades as well too. So I took the 1% better everyday mindset in everything that I did. So that's kind of how I would say you can improve. Whenever you think about it, your goal comes to your mind. Think of, all right, what can I do right now to get closer to that dream, right? So for me, it was whenever I thought that, I was like, all right, let me go on for a run. Let me read something. Let me do some sit-ups. Let me do some planks, whatever. Let me go get some touches. Let me juggle. Anything what came to mind, I was like, all right, I'm going to do something.
That's awesome. And you noticed this big change between heading back in. So did when you went to Ohio State, was there a part of you that says, I made it and I'm done? Like, made it and I'm here, I'm good enough. And so your mindset had to change. Did that happen to you? Is that kind of what like you hit your pinnacle, I hit my goal, and like I don't have to do anything else. I'm good, I made it. And then you realize maybe you're not as good as you thought.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it was more, I kind of hit that like I made it when I was still in high school. But I never felt like I truly made it, because I've always been someone that like, once I achieve one goal, I want to achieve another goal. So at Ohio State was for me, I don't want to just be at Ohio State and my dreams going to sit the bench. So I got there preseason. I was balling out, and I actually the first game I played like 20 minutes of my college season, and then I was only one of two freshmen that didn't register. Me and one of the freshmen were the only ones that didn't register our freshman season. So yeah, I was able to play every game my freshman year. So yeah, it was like I made it, but I don't want to just sit the bench. I want to play. So
yeah, that's incredible. And then, so after Ohio State, you go to Phoenix Rising to play professionally. How'd that go? Was that a one more level up for you?
Yeah.
So talk about that process there.
Yeah, that process was pretty interesting. Like I said, after I thought about transferring, when I came back, this was like in the spring. And then when going into summer, my coach was asking me, so what do you want to do over the summer? Play with the team, train with the team. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go back to Arizona. I would love to train with the team. He's like, who would you train with? And he thought of maybe Phoenix Rising. So he contacted the coach out there and was like, hey, could one of our players train? He had to send over some film of me and what I play like. And they were like, yeah, he can come train. And I trained with them for, I think, over about 6 weeks before I went back to Ohio State for preseason. And I actually got offered, they asked me to actually sign then before going back, but I was like, no, I want to go back to Ohio State and see how I do for my junior year. Went back and I had a great season. They were watching me the whole entire time, Phoenix Rising was. And then at the end of the season, they were like, we're interested in signing you to come play for Phoenix Rising. So I was like, it's kind of a no-brainer. And at Ohio State, if you leave early to go professionally, they'll pay for the rest of they'll keep your scholarship so you can finish your degree. So I was like,
oh, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so I was able to I was actually playing professionally, and I was still doing my last senior year of college. So it was quite a lot for my rookie season, but I was able to still complete my degree in 4 years, which was big for me.
That's really neat. I've not heard that before. So it's like they encourage you to go pro. They want you to.
Yeah, even because especially with the football players, so many of them go professionally. So they're like, yeah, we still want you to get your degree. So they encourage the players that even go to the NFL to still get the degree and graduate.
That's really neat. That is neat. And so you played. And at what point did you get done playing? And what inspired you to write a book and to go talk to kids? And what got you there?
Yeah, I think since a young age, I was always like, what can I do to leave a legacy? And what would I wish I had when I was growing up? For me, it was like I wish I had books to show how I could reach my goals no matter what my goals were, and that it's possible and that other people have done it before me. So I wanted to develop something that could be that for people. And I felt like writing a book was that. And my mom actually gave me the idea. She was like, you've had such a crazy journey. You don't know who you could inspire or what you could do to help these kids that have lofty dreams and goals like yourself. And I think it was I was like, you're right. So I went all in with it. And now I really enjoy just talking to kids about it, helping them reach their dreams and goals and what is needed to reach goals.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, it's been, so we'll talk about I want to share this one more time. And you can get in touch with Channing, the 1% kid. There he is again. But you got all kinds of you got workshops, which seems really cool here. I'm looking. You got the workshops that you can schedule workshops with players, and to dive into that, you do speaking engagements here, which is really neat. It looks like you do a lot of fun. I bet the kids really like that, especially the young soccer players. Like,
right, to
see someone that has played at your level, and so that's really neat. What's one of your favorite things to do? You got these workshops and book an appointment, but what's one of your favorite things to do?
I would say one of my favorite things to do is definitely just a regular author visit. I enjoy going into these schools or going to these organizations or soccer clubs and showing the kids, reading the book, how I was the actual kid in this book. And they're like, no way, that was your dream, that was your goal. And I'm like, yeah, it was at that age. And they're like, I have dreams and goals. Like, when I go to these schools, I ask a lot of the kids, like, what are your dreams or goals? And I don't like it to be just sport specific. Like give me any dream and goal. You could be a dancer, you could be an astronaut, you could be a scientist. Like inspire these kids that there's no stopping you from reaching that dream or goal.
Yeah.
You just need to have the right mindset for it, right? Like no matter what your peers are saying about, yeah, you can't do this, or, you know, things like that. And it's just to instill this confidence in them, because I know sometimes with me, there were teachers or peers or coaches that didn't have belief in me or didn't give me instill confidence in myself. So I had to stay motivated by myself internally. So I think that's what really brings me joy. And then also goal setting workshops, because without goal setting, I'd never have reached any of my goals, because I have a paper from when I was in 3rd grade, and I wrote, I want to play soccer at Ohio State. I want to play for the real Barcelona. I have a picture of it. My mom actually has a picture of it, and I took a picture of it. So without goal setting, I think that's why I also enjoy doing this. Instilling into these kids that goal setting is so important, because it gives you something to work towards, but you have all the necessary qualities and mindset things to reach that goal that you set. That's
awesome. That's really neat. But you got a cool story, cool journey. You know, so it's been cool chatting with you on this journey, and you can pick this up at the1percentkid.com. It looks like you can purchase on Amazon, anywhere books are available. But Channing, I appreciate you taking the time today. Keep killing it, man. Keep pushing your goals, and I think this is something that should be shared with everyone on that 1%. I like that mindset. So appreciate you taking the time to join us today. This has been Cat Chat Live. My name is Josh Tyler for Soccer. Channing, thanks for joining us, my friend.